Good morning, everyone. Welcome back. I know I haven't streamed in a little while. I didn't do last Wednesday because we were doing some cool stuff on the Alexa channel. And I didn't do it on Monday because I was refashioning the studio. So you might notice that the camera looks a whole lot better. Hopefully that fan noise will die out. I haven't solved that problem yet, but I'm working through it. But the studio has changed a little bit. We have a new footer. We've got a brand new camera, which is just absolutely fantastic. This is a Sony A6000. At some point, I'm going to have to put a blog post together on all the equipment that's running in here and how it works and what I use. You'll also notice when we flip over to everything that I've got a slightly new view also, in that I don't have the chat room on the screen. And the reason for that is because I'm using a new piece of software, and the new piece of software is it's called Streamlabs OBS, and it has the chat room right here on the screen for me. So it makes it very easy for me to see what's going on my large monitor that I have in front of me instead of on this small monitor. So Robert Oshler is asking if I'm going to stream today. Yep, just started. But that's the plan. Is we're gonna get back into our data collector skill and spend some time building some cool stuff. So I really like this camera. Man, that looks good. I mean, you can see the map so much better. You can see individual hairs on my head, which is pretty crazy. So I'm really happy with the quality of this camera, and this will free me up to do some other things too. I have more surprises in store as we continue to modify this studio. But one of the things that I want to do, that I've been talking about, is to put a camera way over in the corner over there. I say way, it's 10 feet away. But to put it way up in the corner so you can kind of get a full view of what this whole office looks like, because that's not easy to demonstrate right now. So we're here. I would love for you guys to ask me questions or participate or pair program or whatever you want to call it as we go through this. But I'm going to get right back into doing some development for this Alexa skill. So there's a few things actually that we need to do. I want to check my Airtable and see where we are data-wise, because I know there were some things that I still needed to add there. So I'm going to go to my data table. And as I recall, the last time we were here, we were able to collect a user, and that we have that information here. So we just know what their user ID is and the date that they create, date time they created it. We know their data types. I think that this one was entered via voice. Maybe we should try that again, just to see how it works. Alexa, open data collector.
Welcome to Data Collector. Let's get started. What is your current weight?
I want to track chimneys.
Okay, I've added the ability for you to track
Awesome.
chimneys. You can now start tracking your data. What would you like to do now?
Stop.
Goodbye.
I don't know why I chose chimneys. That seems weird that I said that, but the point of that is that I can say, hey, I want to track something, and it'll let me track and create that new data type for myself. And you can see that it's assigned to my own user record. And then what I should probably say is what the units are. But maybe I can figure that out later, because I probably should follow up with what units do you measure chimneys in? How am I doing that now? So you come in here, and I have the data type intent handler. Okay, I've added the ability for you to track. You can start tracking. You can now start tracking your data. No, I don't want to say that. I actually think I want to say something like what kind of units do you use to measure data type spoken? I I want to make sure. This is like the first time I'm really doing this. So let's check one more thing here. I want to just check Twitch and see that this is coming through all right. Yeah, that looks good. I'm always worried that I'm streaming on the wrong channel or something like that. So it looks like I'm not. I don't have a lot of viewers here today, and that's okay. We'll just keep going. Okay, so let's see. I have, if for those of you that don't know, you may be on the Amazon Alexa channel. I'm actually broadcasting this on my own channel, and it would be great to have you come visit me over there. You can get into the chat room and have conversations and all that stuff. And my username on Twitch is Jeff Blankenburg, so you can find me there. But if you want to join me on my channel here, it'd be great to have you follow me there so that I can get some feel for how many people are actually watching me. I don't get to see any of the statistics from the Alexa channel to know whether or not you're here or not. But thank you for watching if you are. And let's get back to your regularly scheduled programming, which is this. What kind of units do you use to measure data type spoken? Question mark. This now means that I need a units handler. I'm also going to need a units intent. And I don't think I have that right now either. So I have a data intent, data type intent. We're going to need a units intent. So units intent, we're going to call this units. I can't call it units, can I? Oh, maybe I can. I just need this. And by doing, oh boy. Let's do that instead. By doing this, I'm still referring to the same units data type. And what I'll probably need to do is expand, because I think my units data type isn't very full right now. I have a few things. Miles, kilometers. Well, you know what, that's fine. I have a few things in there. I shouldn't need a ton. But this is going to be my units intent, and then I'm just going to say things like, this really should be the core one, because I'm actually asking them a very directed question. What units do you use to do this? All right, so let's do that for now. I guess we'll add a couple more. They are measured in units. And I could say in units. And then maybe also, I'm going to have to close Slack. It's out of control. Okay, so back here in the code, we have in units, and then one more, which is like, if I were to say I want to track calories, and it says, what is the unit for that? I would say calories, or a calorie. Is there anything else I want to say here? Let's see, what was the wording that I used? I've added the ability for you to track calories. What kind of units do you use to measure calories? I might say the calorie, the inch, the foot. That also says to me, though, that I should be thinking about units. I should have these as individual ounce, pound, kilogram. But then in here, have kilograms, and then take this synonyms chunk. And let's do some interesting things with this. So we'll do, that comes parallel to value. So we could say mile, kilometer. This will be kilometers. I love just randomly changing my model and not having any regard for whether or not I'm breaking it. We'll find out in a little bit, I think, if I've broken this. Pound, comma, pounds. Might also say lbs. No one's going to say that. Okay. Ounce. Ounces. OZ. Again, I don't know if people will say that stuff, but it's good to be able to accommodate them if they do. So this will be calories. I don't know if there are other words. LJ, morning. What is the website you use for your Star Wars skill? I think you mean the data behind it, right? And that would be the same thing I'm using here, which is Airtable, airtable.com. That is what I use for a lot of my data for Alexa skills, but also for other things. So Airtable, I think, is the answer you're looking for. Hopefully that helps. Let me know if you meant something else. All right, so I have my units set up, and I have my units intent, and I have a bunch of ways that you might say it. And I'll do one more, which is it is units. Okay. So I've made changes to my model. Now in here, I need a units data type collector. But it also means that I'm going to have to store my session data Let's do session attributes dot current data type equals where do I do I have any place that I do an Alexa return? No, not that one. It would be like in the getting the user ID stuff. I wrapped that all in a promise, huh? I wonder why I did that. I probably did it because I was having issues with await. and it just wasn't doing what I wanted it to do. But I wonder if I could just do return record. This is some exploration. We'll do it. Let's just see what happens here. So I have this thing here, and this is where I want to have var. This is where I'm creating my record. So I'm creating the data type that the user gave me, but I want to get the record ID as it's created, because that is returned to me. So I just am not using it. So we should do data type record ID equals, and then down here, if error console, this right here, we should be able to say right here, return record. I think. So my next step is going to be to log some of this stuff out so we can actually see what we're getting. Console.log data type equals, and we're going to do we're going to do json.stringify, because I don't know what this object looks like. Morning, Lord of Sound. Thank you for joining. Data type record ID. So, that should tell me whether or not I'm getting it, right? And we'll hold off on this thing. Okay, so I have in my data type and intent handler, this is where I tell the skill what data type I want. I should be getting this data type in my logs. So let's go over here to my logs and see what. Good morning, startup, or I guess good evening to you. Thank you for joining. Dynamic slot values, Lord of Sound. Yeah, that's probably gonna happen today. I think we started on that last time, didn't we? Didn't we do some dynamic entities? Didn't we do that? I got the entity directive. I feel like we did it here. Let's see if I come up here to the launch request. Yeah, I did that in the last session we had, which was not this past Monday, but the Monday before that. That is when we did the dynamic slot values. Now we'll be playing with them more, like we're actually using them, but the creation of them happened the last time. And so, yeah, well, and you don't even need to review the video. Here's what we can do. We can go to github.com/me. And in my GitHub, if we go to repositories, there is one called data collector. And I'll just take you to this. And I don't have a way to paste that to you now because of the new system that I'm using. That's inconvenient. So let's go here. What's with the horn hat? So the picture that I took here, I think you're referring to my profile pic here. I was at something called a Warrior Dash. It's a 5K with a bunch of obstacles and lots of mud and all sorts of stuff. And so when you finish the race, they give you a medal, but they also give you this hat. It's just a fuzzy hat. Those are like kind of like plush horns coming out of it. And I was in my car and I had just finished the race. I hadn't even started driving yet, but you can see I have my seatbelt on. And I thought the hat looked awesome, so I took a funny picture with it. And that has become my profile pic for a lot of stuff. So I tend to use that one quite often because it makes me laugh. Anyway, that's the story behind the horn hat. But you can just go to my GitHub, and I'm not finding it. There we go. Thank you, Lord of Sound. You found it. So that's the source code as of Monday. So that has the most recent changes in it. Anything I've done so far today is obviously not there. I should Etsy the hat or the photo. Probably the hat. You probably need the hat. But the here's something cool. If I can tell you guys this story too. If you go to, where's the best? I can do it this way. I have this other picture, because don't we all have a folder called profile photos? I submit to so many conferences and things, and I need different profile photos for different stuff, but I'm looking for a very specific one. This is done by a comic book artist that is a friend of the conference that he's a comic book artist that does the artwork for the conference that I run, Stir Trek. And so as one of the gifts for our speakers for the past 4 or 5 years, he does a profile shot of each one of them. And this is the one he did for me probably 3 or 4 years ago. I'm getting a new one this year, and I'm getting it done of the one with the horns. So I'll have new artwork for that, and this might become my new profile pic going forward. The new one with the horns. But the guy's awesome. His name is Nate Lovett. He does all sorts of cool comic book art. You can find him as Nate Lovett most places, Lovett. Yeah, he's done some amazing work for us for this year's event, and I'm really looking forward to it. I'm not sharing it publicly yet. We got to wait for the event to happen. If it happens, we can get into coronavirus later. But as of right now, it is happening. So we'll see how it goes. But we have a lot of really cool things to show and announce related to that. Okay, I was going to look at my logs. Got very distracted there. Sorry, everybody. Okay, CloudWatch. Thank you. For us, I think it's between like $35 and $50. It's not outrageous for a custom headshot. But yeah, I think that's about right. Let's see. Twitter.com/NateLovett. Let's look. Oh yeah, that's your guy. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. You own the image. He doesn't retain any stuff. He just loves making this kind of stuff, and he has a lot of his own characters and comic books and stuff like that. But he draws all sorts of things. Carter Kane is his own story, but he's at all the comic book trade shows and stuff. But he does all sorts of cool artwork. I actually commissioned something similar to this for my daughter. This is all watercolors he did, and he's making one of these for my daughter. Yeah, I would highly recommend reaching out to him. Just drop my name. He definitely knows me, and he'd understand exactly what you're looking for then. Okay, startup. Any tool for low poly design for faces other than Adobe or Corel products? I'm not aware of any, but if you're looking for something that's free, the only other design tool that I use a decent amount that is free is one called GIMP, GIMP, design. I'll make sure I clean my search up there. That can go the other direction. It's this tool here, GIMP.org. And this is an image manipulation program that would let you do a lot of that stuff, but for free instead of. And it looks and acts a lot like Photoshop. But this has been a really good tool, and I think it's cross-platform and all that stuff. But it's good. I like it. When I don't have Photoshop, this is what I go to. But most of the time, I have Photoshop because of employers or whatever. Okay. Awesome conversations, but I've gotten totally derailed. Let's go back to CloudWatch and find my actual log group. What do you mean no log group? I'm in the wrong region. I'm building some web stuff for myself right now, and I'm doing those in the Ohio region. So it's not Star Wars. What am I working on? I'm working on Data Collector. That would have been in the first list. Data Collector. Okay, let's run the skill so that we can get a log and see what happens. Alexa, open Data Collector.
Welcome to Data Collector. Let's get started. What is your current weight?
I want to track tweets.
Okay, I've added the ability for you to track tweets. You can now start tracking your data. What would you like to do now?
Alexa, stop.
Goodbye.
So that's great. I've made the changes. I've saved them. I have deployed nothing. So let's deploy some stuff. Yeah. We're going to have to deploy both the model and the code, so this will take just a minute. Can't believe I forgot to do that. You're welcome, startup. Hopefully that will get you headed in the right direction. But I'm a big fan of GIMP. I think it's amazing software for being free, because it gives me pretty much all the functionality of Photoshop without the cost. Okay, as we wait for this, I want to remind people, if you're watching this on the Amazon Alexa channel, thank you for joining. But if you didn't realize it, I'm actually broadcasting on my own channel today, and they're just rebroadcasting me, I guess is the right way to say it. But I'd love to have you join us in the chat room and have a conversation. So you can come over to twitch.tv/Jeff Blankenburg to find it at its source, and you can talk to us here and join in on the conversation. I cannot see the chat from the Alexa channel, so if you're talking there, I won't see it. Oh, that's good to hear that the game chat was hilarious. And distracting me is super easy to do. I'm passionate about all sorts of stuff, and so you'll it's easy, very easy. Okay, so let's do this one more time. Alexa, open Data Collector.
Welcome to Data Collector. Let's get started. What is your current weight?
I want to track stickers.
Okay, I've added the ability for you to track stickers. What kind of units do you use to measure stickers?
Stickers.
Intent reflector message. Jeff. Units intent.
Alexa, stop. Okay, so we've gotten the thing that we needed.
Tinnitus therapy can help you with that.
Alexa,
did you want to enable?
Stop. Okay, so 1028. Let's take a look. Do I have a data type mention right here? Data type undefined. That's kind of what I expected my first go. So, yeah, the intent reflector message, if you haven't heard that, this is built into the templates. It is this guy right here. You can see that this can handle is designed to catch anything that's an intent request. So this is not a launch request. It's not any of the other specialty requests that we might get. But any intent request, if it doesn't hit something else, it hits this. And then it tells me, like, hey, by the way, you hit the intent reflector. And by the way, it should have been, you were trying to hit this intent. So that I don't just get some generic error message, but I'm like, oh, by the way, dummy, you haven't built that intent handler or whatever. This is meant, this is not like the fallback intent handler. This is a debugging intent that I like to have specifically just to let me know that, like, hey, I forgot to build the intent, or maybe I just forgot to add it to the manifest down here at the bottom, because it catches anything that gets through this list. The fallback intent handler is different. The fallback intent handler handles things that were said that didn't apply to a specific intent. So that logic is slightly different, Lord of Sound, in how it thinks about those things. A fallback intent, if I said something like, I want to order tacos, it should hit the fallback intent because I don't have any intents that cover that kind of utterance. But this one is meant to catch intents that I do have coverage for that don't have code. I guess if that makes sense. So that's the big difference between them. And this should never be hit. The only time that the intent reflector intent should be hit is when I'm in the process of building. But at the time that I publish my skill, there should be no opportunity to hit that because I should have coverage on all of my intents. And if I have coverage on all my intents and someone says one of my intents or something that matches one of my intents, then it'll hit the code that I've written for it. The fallback intent will still be there and will still be called at times when someone tries to order an Uber while I'm using my skill, or where they're saying something that's very out of bounds for the set of intents that I actually have. Does that make sense? Hopefully that makes sense. Okay, so let's see. I have my help intent handler. I have data type, and the thing that I really wanted to see was I getting the data that I wanted? And I think this is why I do think this is why I wrap that stuff in a promise. Yep, that's exactly it. No handler for a known intent versus no intent coverage for the user input. Totally right. And that's what the fallback intent is that second case. All right, let's go do the harder work. We're going to take this whole chunk. Actually, all I really need is this. Copy. Let's come into my data type intent handler, which is this one. And we're going to drop this here. And I'm going to do that. And that's my await statement. Instead of this return, now I can do resolve like this. Because I think that's what I'm doing down at the bottom. I have return new promise. I don't need the return statement for what I'm going to be doing. And I've resolved and reject. And then I have my Airtable statement that looks the same. And then I'm going to resolve the record. I guess we could drop this in here just for funsies. All right, data intent handler. Awesome. That's a lot of points, man. I'm going to take this statement here, drop it right there, new data type record. So that should be the record itself, and then I'm going to resolve the record, which should come all the way out of this promise, all the way out of here, and be my record ID, and then I should see the data type. Are other people having technical issues? That's good to know. Thank you, Startup. Now, you've mentioned that the last couple of times that you've had some issues. It doesn't say here that I'm dropping any kind of data packets or anything like that, like it would normally do if I was having issues. Let me take a look here. No, I haven't dropped any frames at all, in fact. So I've got to think that it's on your end, Startup. I apologize. But no, it looks like I'm rolling smoothly today, which is a surprise. I feel like I always have technical difficulties. But that means that the stream will be clean when if you want to watch some of this later, Startup as well, which is the good news. Okay, so we have this code modified, and I think now my record ID should resolve out of this promise and into my variable asynchronously, and then I should be able to get my data type. So let's see. Let's see what happens. So we're going to come down here, and we're going to say ask deploy. This time we can just target the lambda. So we'll do that. Alexa, open data collector.
There was a problem with the requested skills response.
Let's see what my error is. It's probably something simple. That's not in there. I don't know why. I feel like I should be getting more errors in there, but all right, let's come back. Look at this one. Await is only valid in an async function. Well, that is a true statement. What line did you say that was on?